I'm joined right now by the New York Times' Michelle Cinder. Hugh Hewitt, host of the Hugh Hewitt Show on the Salem Radio Network, and Democratic strategist Tad Devine, he's back. He was former senior advisor to the Bernie Sanders campaign. Good to have him back. Let's go to Yamiche, and let's go in this order. What is the strategy of Trump saying he's not behind? Because just the other day he was saying the election's fixed and he can't possibly win. I thought one was to encourage his voters. I'm not even sure what is his strategy, saying he's going to win and the polls are wrong, or saying he's going to get screwed, the polls are right. I mean, which is his strategy here?
I mean, we're seeing two things happen here. Donald Trump, I think, is in one way trying to tell people that he's realizing that he's behind and that he wants to kind of rile up his base and wants to tell people, hey, there's still time, we need to get this together. But there's also this other part of Donald Trump that I think where he really is in denial in some ways. He sees these polls, the same polls that he would be talking about if he was winning, and he says now they're rigged, and it goes to this idea of making the case that the election is rigged, and really wants his supporters to feel like if I lose, it's not because of anything that I did, but really it's because the media and the people who are rigging this election.
Yeah, Hugh, he's really trying to be scientific about it, or clinical. He's saying, let me tell you how they rig it. They give more weighting to the Democrats when they're polled than they give to the potential Republican voters. He's really getting into the science of polling and showing how it's being, according to him, rigged. At the same time, well, I'm not sure what at the same time is, except it's rigged, the polls are rigged, the elections are going to be rigged. Is that the theme to get his people out?
I think it's the theme to get his people out, but I should say I think it's also part of this him being angry at the system. Yes, he wants to get his voters out, and they are enthusiastic. I think I would say that he is right with that. That his supporters are very enthusiastic. So there's a little bit of that going on. But I think some of this is the fact that he's really kind of departing from the message of his campaign. Kellyanne Conway is really trying to tweet out and really trying to do interviews where she says we understand we're behind, because she wants people to understand that they are serious, that they're presidential candidates, that they understand what the numbers are saying to them. But Donald Trump is kind of really doing what he wants to do in this case.
Hugh, can you understand his strategy, his public strategy?
No, not really. I think it's important for him to focus on the Obamacare meltdown, to focus on issues at this point and leave the pollsters to their polling. If he wants to point to anything, you point to Tom Cotton winning by 17% 2 years ago in Arkansas and Mitch McConnell winning by 15%, neither of which were predicted anything close to that kind of a landslide. But you don't unskew polls. It's a bad move. I fall into that trap myself. I learned, trust the real, clear politics average and campaign on the issues.
What do you think was, I hate to take you down a rabbit hole you don't want to get down, but why was the Cotton race underpolled? Why was Mitch McConnell underpolled?
I do think that state polling is much more difficult than national polling. I've tried to figure it out with people like Sean Trendy at Real Club Politics. The bigger your sample, the easier it is to model a turnout. The smaller your experience in a Senate race, and every 6 years on an off year was a real bust. But I mean, Cotton won by 17 points.
That's wild.
Brad Dayspring of Politico pointed out to me that the last poll showed him winning by 8 to 10, but about 3 weeks out, they thought that prior Cotton race was a dead heat, and Cotton wins by 17 points. It does give you pause when you come to some polls.
Let me go to Tad, who's a political strategist, not a pollster. Tad, I don't understand. When you got 2 weeks to go in the polls, why doesn't Trump say the following? If you like the way things are going, vote for the usual candidate, Hillary Clinton. If you like the way we're losing jobs in the manufacturing part of this country, getting killed on that front, vote for what we have. If you like the way we have uncontrolled immigration, vote for that. If you like these stupid wars, vote for that. Vote yes for Hillary. Why doesn't he set it up as a zero-sum game? If you vote for Hillary Clinton, you're voting for the way things are, and really set up smartly instead of arguing about polling and crap like that. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are because he's not a disciplined candidate, because he doesn't really care about the mechanics of campaigns, because he doesn't stick to a message. This is a guy who will say whatever he wants to say if he thinks it serves his purposes at that moment. It's a Twitter kind of form of communication. So I think he's trying to offer reassurance to his supporters that he's not out of it. But the truth is he's fallen far behind, and there's very few, if any, paths for him to win the election.
What do you think's happened to him? Is it the tape from 2005? What is it that broke his chance?
Well, I think a combination of, number one, the debates, where Hillary Clinton performed like a president. She demonstrated presidential capacity. She dealt with him very effectively. Number two, I think that tape that was released of him on the bus confirmed all the suspicions that people had about him, particularly with women. That's why he's trailing. He's 20 points down in the ABC poll with women right now. So I think it's a combination of those events.
Well, Trump went after the media today again, saying he was looking out for working Americans. I wish he would say, not that I want him to do it, but the smart thing, and I like politics, is to do it the right way. Let's watch.
The media isn't just against me. They're against all of you. That's really what they're against. They're not against me. They're against what we represent. The media is entitled, condescending, and even contemptuous of the people who don't share their elitist views. And this is all for money. This is for money, largely. Money and power. I see you and I hear you. I am your voice.
Let me go to Hugh on that. What do you make of that argument that he represents the regular folks out there and the media represents the elite? And why would the media, except a lot of media people are Ivy Leaguers, and they are, you might say, the intellectual elite. Well, I don't think that's what I'd brag about, but they are, some of them. Why is the media pro-elite, according to him? Give me the motivation, because you're on that side of thinking, and I want to hear the smart way of saying it.
To quote, thank you. To quote Kissinger, it has the additional benefit of being true. 90% plus of Manhattan Beltway media elites will vote for Hillary Clinton and will applaud her election. That seeps into coverage. It's what Dan Rather said, news is where you look. Those elites look for news in places other than, for example, the Obamacare premium hikes or the problems at the FBI. These are stories where, if Donald Trump were making a comprehensive case, it goes back to Nixon and Agnew. You know this, Chris. This is an old saw, and it's a true saw in the Republican canon that you don't get a fair shake. But you got to deal with it by focusing on issues, not on the problem of bias.
Can I jump in there really quickly?
Yamiche, do you think that's true? Do you think that's true? I mean, I look at Joe Biden. He's not elite. I look at Bobby Casey of Pennsylvania. I don't think he's elite. I look at Toomey. He's not elite. Who are these elite? Name me the elite in the media. Give me the names.
Well, this is the thing. If we ask people like Donald Trump, or if you ask people like Bernie Sanders, they were both going after some of the same people. They were talking about the New York Times. They were talking about the Washington Post. And really, this is something I think that is kind of an effective argument, because people really do feel like when they go and get the news that they're really getting it from these people who have some sort of plan to rig this election or rig the economy or don't want to cover the real issues, when, you know, obviously the media is in some ways covering the news of the day and covering things that we think are important. But there are people making value judgments. But I should add that I talked to
Do you know anybody, Yamiche, at the New York Times who's pro-life?
That's not a question I'm going to answer. I have no idea.
Do you know anybody? Just, you don't have to name names. Do you know anybody at the Times who's pro-life?
I've not asked my coworkers that question, I should say.
Oh, that's cute.
Hugh,
you're making your point. That's the way you make your point. Anyway, go ahead, Yamiche.
But I really want to, this idea of, I was talking to a Trump supporter today, and he said that he felt that Donald Trump was what he called a blue-collar billionaire. It's the first time I had heard that term. But it's this idea that people really are believing that he's the voice for them.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think that that's something that's really powerful. And that could be an issue that he could continue to talk about if he wasn't talking about suing his sexual assault accusers.
Yeah, I think people, I'm going to go back to you. Let me go back to Tad on that. I think people look at Trump, who like him, those who like him, as sort of a Sinatra kind of guy. Yeah, he has a lot of money, but he acts like a little guy who got to be a big guy. He doesn't look like he was born to it. He doesn't look like that. Your thoughts?
Well, I think he doesn't sound like that, you know, with the language that he uses. But, you know, listen, that clip you just played of Trump, he was taking it directly off the teleprompter. It was very effective. It was a powerful message. Trump's problem is he stops going off the teleprompter. He goes to Gettysburg to make this big address, and he says he's going to sue all the women who are making charges against him.
Great headline.
And that's the news. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's stupid, and it's selfish, and it's a big reason he's going to lose.
Over the weekend, Hillary Clinton said she won't respond to Trump anymore. That's smart. Today on the trail, however, she had strong words for him, taking him to task for what he tweeted about the invasion of Mosul. Boy, this is getting interesting. Let's watch.
Just last night, he tweeted that the new effort underway to push the terrorists out of the key city of Mosul is already, and I quote, a total disaster. He's basically declaring defeat before the battle has even started. He's proving to the world what it means to have an unqualified commander-in-chief.
Anyway, Clinton was joined at the rally by Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, who attacked Trump for labeling Clinton a nasty woman at last week's debate. By the way, Senator Warren knows exactly how to fight with Trump. Let's watch her here again.
He thinks that because he has money, that he can call women fat pigs and bimbos. He thinks that because he has a mouthful of Tic Tacs, that he can force himself on any woman within groping distance. Well, I got news for you, Donald Trump. Women have had it with guys like you. And nasty women have really had it with guys like you. Get this, Donald. Nasty women are tough. Nasty women are smart. And nasty women vote.
I have to go to Tad because you've had to deal with clients. How do you find somebody so perfectly designed as Elizabeth Warren to go after Trump? She has no fear of him. She's unassailable at home. She can't be defeated. She seems to have a way of getting beyond tough. He's tough on Hillary. He's tough on everybody. She's tougher than him.
Yeah, well, listen, she's connecting. Okay, that's what it's all about in politics. I mean, Bernie Sanders connected with voters. That's why he had the campaign that he ran in the primary process. Elizabeth Warren connects very powerfully. She uses plain language. She goes right at it. She's pushing back on a bully. And, you know, I think that, you know, she's just killing him out there. And listen, this is one of Hillary's great advantages. That it's not just Hillary that's fighting this fight. The Obamas, they're incredible. The vice president, Bernie's been great. Elizabeth Warren today. I mean, this is a murderer's row of surrogates that's being thrown at Trump right now, and he's paying the price for it.
You're talking about the Yankees of old, of the 20s. Anyway, thank you, the murderer's row. Thank you, Michelle Sinder of the New York Times, Hugh Hewitt of Salem, and Tad Devine of the Democratic Party.